Next question. Got a question about Connor Bedard. One of the main storylines this year will obviously be Bedard's rookie year. Do you think we're putting too much pressure on him comparing him to Sid or McDavid? And what rookie year / career would he have to have in order to live up to the hype from Matt Mag 1013? So Connor Bedard, in terms of a rookie year, I've been pretty straightforward with this. I don't think he's going to have a McDavid, Crosby point per game over a point per game. Crosby was like 100 points. I don't think he's going to be that good just because Chicago Blackhawks are not that good of a team. If he went to Columbus and had Gaudreau and Laine right off the rip, I think we could have been talking about legitimately 90 points, him putting up 40 goals and 50 assists, because he'd be playing with another top 10 winger and a top 15 right winger in Laine. That would have been ideal, but comparing him to McDavid, who walked into the league, the Edmonton Oilers weren't that good of a team, but he had, sorry, I was just looking for chat for a second, but McDavid had Taylor Hall, 24 years old, putting up mid-60s points. Eberle was a very good top six forward, 55 to 60 points. Draisaitl, McDavid's rookie year, had 50 points in 70 games. RNH was pretty solid. McDavid had pieces, so he was able to put up a point per game. And even him, it was like 18 goals, 40 assists in 45 games, so it was very assist-heavy. Connor Bedard has Taylor Hall, but 32-year-old Taylor Hall is kind of washed up. He has Corey Perry. He has Lucas Reichel, who I think will be a stud, but probably not next year. Number one defenseman, Seth Jones. Number two is like Connor Murphy. So Chicago, in terms of his rookie year, I think it's unfair to assume that he's going to put up north of 75 points. But I think as long as he hits 60, maybe 65, I'm still 1,000% on board. 1,000% he's generational. 60 to 65. If we start getting to 50, 55, even on that bad of a team, I'd start to have some worries, because you look at it, even a Brady Tkachuk walked into the league, had 45 points in 71 games. Nico Hischier, his rookie year, he did play with Taylor Hall, but Nico Hischier had 52 points in his rookie year in 82 games. So as long as Bedard gets to that 60-point mark, you really can't judge him. You just got to see what he does then the following year. I think for him, it should be like 65 points, then 90, then like 100 plus. I don't think he's going to be like McDavid, win a Hart Trophy in his second year, because Blackhawks have many more years of rebuilding remaining. But I think regarding his rookie season, yes, 30 goals, 30 to 35 assists, that would be a successful year on one of the worst teams in the entire league. As for career, this might be bold, but if we think that he's a generational talent, well, actually, no, let me back this up. In terms of the hype, me talking about Bedard with his hype, I think it is warranted. You look at it, not a lot of players have been called generational. It's not that big of a list. I know people have recently been saying generational gets tossed around. In my opinion, it's only these four, Lindros and maybe Ovi. I think Ovi, the narrative has kind of been rewritten. He was a fantastic prospect, but it was definitely, even in his draft class, they were talking about the following year with Crosby. And you can't really be generational if you're a year apart. But so when you look at it, the generational talents, they don't bust. They really don't bust. All four of those guys are probably the four most talented players of all time. So in terms of Bedard being labeled this, and rightfully so, you look at his NHL E compared to other leagues. This stat is, they compare like the WHL, OHL to the NHL, how many points you put up, and then project you across. He had the same projections basically as McDavid in his draft year -1 and in his draft year. And the only other guys to have this 99% is Matthews, Hughes, Tavares, Kessel, Kane, and Crosby. Ovechkin didn't even have it. Malkin didn't even have it. So when you look at that list, the worst player on that list is Phil Kessel, has 992 points. Second worst is Tavares or Hughes. Tavares, two-time Hart finalist. Jack Hughes just put up 99 points at 21 years old. So in terms of the hype, I think it is warranted, because he has been so good at the junior level. And when you look at it, not only do we need him to be a good individual player for the sake of the Blackhawks, sake of all that, the league as a whole, there's a lot riding on Connor Bedard in terms of being that next face of the league. Because you look at a Connor McDavid, even though he is one of the most boring players off the ice, he still is the biggest draw in the entire league. So the hype is not only just him on the ice. He's expected to be that next guy, to go from Crosby to McDavid to Bedard. So for the sake of the league, they kind of do need Bedard to pan out. So I think the hype is valid. I mean, you only have these kind of talents once every 10 years, and based on the production that he had at the junior league, he should be the best player in the league. by age 25, 26, unless McDavid ages absolutely fantastic. In terms of a career perspective, already did rookie year, already said that the hype is justified. In terms of a career perspective, this also might sound insane, but I think he needs to have like a Guy Lafleur or Jaromir Jagr type of career to live up to the hype. I don't think that you can compare him. I don't think you can say he has to be one of these guys to live up to the hype. I think that is ridiculous to assume, considering Gretzky's the greatest player of all time right now. Lemieux's second, Crosby's fifth or sixth, in my opinion. McDavid's already top 15, easily going to finish top 5. I think that is ridiculous. To put the expectations on that level is ridiculous. But I do think you look at a Guy Lafleur, you look at this resume, 3-time Ross, 2-time Hart, 3-time Pearson, 5-time Cup's not going to happen. Let's be honest, just doesn't happen in the modern NHL. But from a pure individual standpoint, I think the bar is set for Bedard to be a multi-time Hart winner. I think that's the expectation, as ridiculous as that might sound. And he might not win 3 Harts or 3 Rosses, but a combined 3 Rosses or Rockets, 3 or 4 of those, I think that is the bar. You look at him, Jaromir Jagr, 3 Pearsons, so 3 years. He was voted as the best, most outstanding player in the entire league. Only 1 Hart, but 3 Pearsons means that he probably should have won a Hart in one of those years, as well as 5 Hart Rosses. I think that is kind of the resume that you got to expect from Connor Bedard. I think you need to expect 2 Stanley Cups, a combined 3 either Rosses or Rocket Richards, lead the league in either goals and assists, goals or points 3 years, and about 1,400 career points, 1,500 career points. I don't think that's that ridiculous. If he comes short of that, if he has the career of a Joe Sakic, a Bobby Clark, a Steve Yzerman, I don't think that's like a massive disappointment. But if he does just win 1 Hart, not the consensus best player in the league in his prime, wins 2 Cups as the best player, that would be a good career. But I think for a generational talent, having the career of Joe Sakic is pretty disappointment. Eric Lindros, obviously injuries affected him, but I think we all agree that that career was kind of disappointing. I know it never really fully happened because of those injuries. He won the 1 Hart, then he started to get hurt. But looking back on it, it is kind of disappointing. So for Connor Bedard, yeah, I think his expectations are he needs to be the best player in the league for like a 5-year period, pretty consensusly. He needs to win 3 Harts or Art Rosses. No, Rockets or Art Rosses. Wins at least 2 Harts, 2 Pearsons, and probably 2 Stanley Cups. I know it's a team award, but when you are one of these generational talents, when you are expected to be an all-time legend, Cups do matter. But moving on.